Hey there, in today's Hostinger WordPress tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build your WordPress website completely from scratch using the best website builder for beginners. We're going to go from zero to fully launched, and I promise it's easier than you think. From choosing your plan, installing WordPress, picking a theme, adding pages and posts, to optimizing and finally going live, we're covering all of it. So grab a coffee, use that discount link below, and let's start building. Let's start with a quick note. If you've already got a Hostinger plan, feel free to skip ahead, but if not, here's what you should know. Hostinger offers one of the best price to value WordPress hosting services out there. I mean, it's even officially recommended by WordPress. Another point of confusion is Hostinger's WordPress plan. So to clarify, every Hostinger subscription comes with a free managed WordPress. It doesn't matter if you grab the AI web builder or cloud hosting. If you can create a website, you can do it with WordPress. For this video, we're going to focus on the most affordable option, shared hosting. There are 3 subscriptions you can go for. Premium is great for beginners and small businesses since you get to build up to 25 websites, a free domain, and free unlimited SSL. Business is ideal for growing your sites and giving you staging, backups, a free content delivery network, and even Hostinger's AI WordPress website builder, which we'll explore later on. And for big projects, the Cloud Startup plan offers more power, a dedicated IP, and priority support. While Hostinger is already affordable, you deserve an even better deal. I know you do. So use the special deal in the description or by just scanning the QR code and grab Hostinger at the lowest possible price. Once you've picked up your plan and logged into Hostinger's H panel, setting up WordPress is super simple. Go to Websites, click Add Website, and choose WordPress. Hostinger's panel is beginner-friendly and packed with smart features like an AI WordPress troubleshooter and auto updates, but we'll talk about those later. For now, you're going to go through a quick onboarding. You'll need to create credentials, but no, because Hostinger already fills in this info and even comes up with a strong password, you literally don't need to do anything. Although my advice is to write these login details somewhere, like in a password manager. The auto login system is super convenient, don't get me wrong, but it's good to have a backup if something happens to the Hostinger dashboard. Now, for the fun part, building your actual website. There are 3 main ways to do it. The first is using Hostinger's WordPress AI website builder. Available on business and cloud plans, it's sort of an integration of their classical AI web builder into the WordPress ecosystem. With it, you describe your website and let the AI generate a site in seconds. And you can then go and customize everything with the normal WordPress tools. So basically, you can do anything you want with that new AI design. The second method is using pre-built websites or themes. While I really like Hostinger's AI, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for the old school templates. Just choose one, install it, and you'll land in your WP admin panel ready to edit. The third method is simply to go with a blank slate and install default WordPress with a default theme. So what should you choose? If you want to craft a site from scratch and make every decision, go with a simple WordPress installation. If you want to mess around with themes and tools but don't want to do everything, go with WordPress pre-built themes. If you want the most convenient, ready-to-launch site that requires only a few tweaks, then choose Hostinger AI WordPress website builder. In this video, I'm going to show you all 3 ways of installing WordPress, since blank slate is just the same as pre-made themes minus the, themes. The first approach for how to install WordPress on Hostinger, which I recommend for complete beginners, is to use Hostinger's WordPress AI website builder. With this approach, give your site a name, select the category you're aiming for, and finally, the most important step is to describe what you want in as much detail as you can. The more info you give, the more the AI will have to work with, and in turn, you'll get a better design. Now, the AI itself is a relatively new tool, so it might not always produce bangers, and some themes can look the same, but that's why you can always redo the entire process. It's completely free. After you create the one design you like, you can go to the classic WordPress dashboard for further customization. All right, the second approach is to go with one of, I don't even know, probably thousands of pre-made templates and websites. Now, the first page you get will display pre-made website designs, which is not really a theme in a classical WordPress sense. However, you will install a theme with your design. You're just sort of choosing one layer above it. A note here, not all of these are free. Some have this icon that shows you have to pay for a one-time fee if you want to get that specific design. But what if you want to get a theme and have more overall choice? Well, if you click down here, you'll get theme selection. I know that it feels like themes are buried under layers of other choices, but to be fair, this makes more sense for beginners not really versed in the WordPress lore. For themes, I highly recommend going with Astra. It has a lot of free tools and designs, as well as being one of the most popular choices nowadays, so you know they're getting enough updates. After you know what you're going to go with, your further customizations will be done, most likely through website builders like Elementor or Beaverbuild. Okay, the third way is to install a basically empty WordPress website. It'll come with a default news theme and you'll have to customize everything the good old manual way. But to be fair, unless you're running some sort of test or need a very simple site to dump your data, then AI Builder or templates is going to be the better choice. Next, we should talk about the essentials, and the core of WordPress is, and probably always will be, plugins. Plugins are like apps for your site. They let you add extra features without coding. Now, we can install plugins straight from the setup. No need to add them later on. Hostinger recommends some great ones, but it all depends on what you're building. However, Yoast SEO and Google Sitekit should be installed on every website, since one allows you to easily set up SEO on your project and the other allows you to track analytics completely for free. You can always experiment with plugins. In most cases, activating and turning them off again won't affect your site, but do note that there can be outdated or unoptimized plugins that can affect your site's performance and design. Also, a good rule of thumb is to have just a few plugins, only the ones you need, since more tools equals more loading time. After we're done with plugins, you have to select your domain name. If you bought Hostinger subscription through the link, you should have that free domain name, so use it here. Or alternatively, if you don't have a spare domain name or just don't want it to be connected yet, you can use a subdomain and connect to a real domain later on. Also, if it's your first setup, Hostinger will ask for your data center location. Now, it's not that super important, mainly because Hostinger is fast around the globe, and secondly, you can change this data center once a month for free. On top of that, Hostinger will even suggest the best data center based on most of your visitors' location. Really useful info that not a lot of beginners take into account. So that was Hostinger WordPress onboarding. Now you should see the admin dashboard in front of you. From here, there are basically no limits on what you can create or do. So I won't go into too much detail, but if you want specific things answered in more detail, do let me know. I'm trying to make these tutorials as useful for you as I can. All right, I still will give you a few tips about using WordPress in general. If you want to install any plugin, head to plugins, add new, and search for what you want, install it, and finally activate it. Remember, a plugin can be installed, but if it's not active, it won't interact with your website. You can also just upload plugins manually, though make sure they come from safe, legal sources. I really hope I don't need to say this, but just in case, never use cracked plugins. They can harm your site. And also, those developers probably worked hard, so let's, support each other. Now, if you need to install another theme, go to Appearance, Themes. You'll see the AI-generated theme if you use the builder, but you can browse thousands of official WordPress themes or upload one if you have it. Again, if you're using a third-party source, double check that it's clean and secure. Malicious themes can break your site or steal data, so it's best not to download themes from sites that have Juarez in their title. I mean, there are thousands of themes, and Hostinger can generate infinite combinations of them, so I think you're going to be fine without shady theme dealers. All right, next up in my Hostinger WordPress tutorial, let's create your first WordPress page and post. Pages are for static content like your about or content section. Posts are for content that updates often like blog articles or news. Basically, you can find lots of posts on one single page. WordPress uses the Gutenberg editor and blocks. It's easy, flexible, and powerful, a sort of middle ground between old school, classical editor and modern day website builders. To create a post, go to the left-hand menu and click on Posts, then select Add New, enter a title for your post, and use the block editor and add content such as paragraphs, images, and headings. You can organize your post by assigning categories and tags from the right-hand sidebar. You can also set a featured image to represent your post, which is highly recommended, and also make sure the image has an alternative title, which helps with SEO. When you're ready, click the Publish button on the top right corner and then confirm by clicking Publish again. Your post will now be visible on your blog. All right, to create a page, the process is nearly identical. Go to Pages in the dashboard menu and click Add New. Add a title for the page, like About or Contact, and use the block editor to add your content. Unlike posts, pages are static and don't appear in the blog feed, but they work more as your main menu links for users to explore. After adding your content, click Publish and Confirm. If you want the page to appear in your website menu, go to Appearance, Menus, and add the page there by simply dragging and dropping like this, or rearranging submenus. And here's another tip from me. Edit your permalinks to make your URLs short and readable. Don't forget to use categories and tags to organize your posts. All right, the next step in this WordPress tutorial, let's talk about plugins, optimizations, and performance. First, we need to make sure our new WordPress site is as fast as possible. To do so, go back to hPanel and there, go to your website's dashboard where you're going to find cache level settings. Here we can choose how powerful we want these optimizations to be. If you're not running anything custom built or complex, I would advise going with the most aggressive caching, but do check that everything works before forgetting about it. If you do notice some problems or maybe things not loading as they should, experiment with these levels to find the perfect sweet spot. Hostinger does not restrict you here, so you can change these settings as much as you need. Hostinger runs on Lightspeed servers that are already quite fast, but we can make it even better with the Lightspeed Cache plugin. It should be installed by default, but if it's not, just go to Plugins, Add New, and type in Lightspeed. You can create an account with QuickCloud. It's going to allow you to easily set up a content delivery network, optimize your code, and do a lot more things that once were locked behind knowing how different coding languages work, but it's now just a click of a button. Okay, then go to Settings, and here we can send all of our images for free optimization, which most plugins ask for a fee, but do keep in mind that you can send a limited number of images to be optimized. Then I recommend trying out page optimizations. But here, do keep in mind these settings might mess with your site. So what I do is activate any one of these and see how my website looks on incognito. If everything works, great, then on to more optimization. Again, the thing, all these optimizations would cost an arm and a leg with other providers, but here, totally free. Oh, another thing that I personally found useful for my clients, or if I were working in a team, Hostinger lets you share access with the account sharing feature. No need to send logins around or do any of that cumbersome old school stuff. Okay, so now it's time to go live. Make your website visible to the world. All you have to do is go back to your dashboard and deactivate the Coming Soon page. That's it. Go on incognito mode and check whether your site works or send it to a friend. Just be aware that sometimes caching can take some time, so give it a few good old refreshes. And now what's next is that you build your site even more, adding content and improving SEO. Of course, if you used a temporary domain during the setup, I advise you to go and get a real domain name as soon as possible. Don't worry, adding it to your hosting plan is just a few clicks. And that's it. You can go and share your new website with all your friends. So, after this Hostinger WordPress tutorial 2025, we've gone from no site to a fully optimized live WordPress website that does look modern and clean. And you didn't even need to learn coding, listen to a seminar about random tools, or even spend money on consulting. All with this video and, of course, Hostinger WordPress hosting. Discount links are in the description, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. Now it's your time. Go make something big, make WordPress proud. All right, if you have any questions or want a more in-depth Hostinger website builder tutorial, drop a comment and I'll get back to as many of you as I can. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.